My name is Grace Ross, and I'm the coordinator of the Mass Alliance Against Predatory Lending. We have folks here from across the state who have been fighting for their homes, and we called today's press conference for two really critical reasons. One, Senator Nick Collins, who's the lead sponsor of our new legislation to ask for a moratorium on foreclosures from the legislature. And we'll talk a little bit about that piece of legislation. We filed that legislation knowing that foreclosures are still running at a historic rate in Massachusetts. They started hitting visibility on the public radar in 2007. By 2009 through 2011, we were running at a 3.4 times the peak rate of the Great Depression in terms of foreclosures across the United States. It then sort of dropped off the visibility radar of the media, but what we know is that foreclosures in Massachusetts have continued to run at slightly below the peak rate of the Great Depression. Given the number of years this has been going on, and the peak years being as bad as they've been, the total cumulative effect of foreclosures in this time period far outstrips anything the Great Depression saw. The impact on people's lives, on our neighborhoods, on our tax base, on our entire economy, on the massive wealth shift from the regular people of the United States onto the very wealthiest is historic. Nothing will ever compare to it, hopefully, in the future, because we're going to get justice, and that's what we're here to talk about today. But you need to know that the last time that foreclosures approached this bad a rate and other forms of taking of property was coming into the American Revolution. It's part of why the revolution happened, and today we are in a position we are fighting once again for our right as regular people to own our homes, to have property, to have that kind of stability and control in our lives, and also to be able to accumulate wealth the way all families have always in the history of this country. A lot of this crisis was created because lenders went after the first generation of people of color and women in the household who could themselves own their own property. These foreclosures today are still of the mortgages that were just pushed out the door with no concept of legal origination that led to the massive housing bubble in the mid-2000s, and is still today the ravages that we're still fighting and trying to reverse and get justice for the homeowners. The second reason we're here today is because after filing this legislation that we know is so critical, work that we've been doing on the ground since mid-2017, finally figuring out how to leverage the statutes that were already on the books, but that force the banks to show you the basis of the debt, that is the origination and of the mortgage note. So when you sign a mortgage, you're signing two documents: a mortgage contract that says if I don't pay, you can take the house, and a note that functions like a check. It's the IOU, how much money you borrowed. That check, like all checks, are only valid in the original piece of paper on which you actually sign, what's called a wet ink note. That is, your signature was wet ink on it at one point. What we figured out how to do is to force the banks to show us what they claim is that still existing original debt that you created, that check, that mortgage note. And it turns out that what they show us is not the original note. It doesn't matter how many times they promise that that's what they're showing us. We have folks with expertise who've looked at them, and what they are trying to pass off as the basis of foreclosing on the homeowners, at least of Massachusetts, but we suspect across the country, is overwhelmingly a debt that appears to no longer exist because it's been handled so wrongly and criminally and illegally that it is no longer a debt and can no longer be used to take your house. Altogether, the bank's lawyers, the various law firms in Massachusetts, seem to have figured out that we have figured out that they are passing off criminally forged or counterfeit notes and are therefore not continuing with the ongoing foreclosures for the moment. They are retooling, and as always, this moratorium that they've put in place will be temporary unless we get legislation to make it permanent.